Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to Swoody Craft. We're back today with the Space Engineers Let's Play. Always start out with our big thank you to the patrons. These guys are awesome. We love them. Anyway, back to the game. So I spent the last little bit while you guys were gone working on the big green monster, and I didn't do too much. I did a little mirroring, sunset. That's why I worked through the night basically. So I worked through the night, waited for the sun to come up so that we could continue on with our Let's Play here. Turn my lights off, we don't need them. And I worked on the green monster. I went ahead and added the vertical strakes on here. I finished welding up all the blocks that we had laid down before. I fixed the wing on the left and mirrored it on the right. And let's see what else. I added in some gyros because I realized we forgot that. So I put a couple gyros here and a couple gyros here. The other thing is I didn't like the way the two thrusters have broken apart the fuselage. So I decided to move the other thruster down, and I moved it out a little bit so that it kind of, I don't know, better aligns with the edge here. I like it sticking out just a teensy bit. So I like the way that looks. All in all, I think it's starting to shape up. I even kind of gave it a temporary name. To me, it looks a little like an F-14. So I'm calling it the S-14, or Scout. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think. You guys tell me in the comments what you think. Do you like the idea? You don't like the idea? Or what your opinion is? Yeah, and we'll go from there. So today, a few things we got to finish up on here. Number one, a cockpit. We don't have any way of actually flying or controlling this thing. So that's the first part. I think we got enough batteries in here now. I've got them all set to recharge. Hopefully now that the sun's up, the solar panels will kick in, and hopefully we'll be able to recharge these bad boys. If not, I might have to kick on the reactor up there. I did do a little bit of uranium mining during the night as well, and got a couple, or about 10k of ore. So we've got about 100, 120 or so uranium right now. So we could kick that on if we needed to and charge these batteries up. In fact, we might even need to install a couple small reactors on this ship. I don't know. We'll see. So that's one thing. Cockpit, next thing, and then landing gear and or wheels. I'm kind of still tossed up at the moment which one I want. I'm really leaning toward wheels. I don't know. We'll get to that, I guess. We'll start off with the cockpit. Let's go ahead and work on the cockpit for now. And I'm thinking I want it to be, so there's one of the mods from the server is large. It's the same as the ship, the large ship control seats, but for small grids. So you can fly or control your small ships using the same grid, or the same type of seats, flight seats. And I'll just see if I can find one here and you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here we go, small ships. So it's just like the other ones except small grid. And it's a nice 3x3 small block, so should fit perfectly nicely. And yeah, so let's extend our cockpit up just a bit here, or at least we'll extend the nose up just a bit here. We don't want it to be, oh, I'm out of steel plates. We don't want it to be blocking the boarding ramp, coming up onto the ship. So we're gonna have to move it up a little bit to be out of the way. In fact, I don't know, might end up turning that boarding ramp around since we I need more than 21 steel plates. That's not gonna last us very long, is it? So let's grab a few more of those. There we go. I don't know. I'm debating now. Since we only have the one motor in the back, we could actually make that into a walkway. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Oh, that reminds me. We never actually installed this thing properly, did we? We just kind of threw it in. Oh yeah. Of course, I filled up with plates, and then I go trying to grind stuff down. Doesn't work very well. There, drop that down. We'll pick it up here in a second. What we need to do is, yeah, put in a nice ramp so that we don't have a big bump when we come up. You know, we don't want to walk into a solid wall here. I'd much rather walk up a nice gentle ramp. So that'll work. Just fix that right quick while we're looking at it. Alright, so go back here. And what I'm thinking is I really would like to take the nose and make it kind of pointy. The more I work on this, the more I think it looks like an F-14. So I kind of want to lean toward that design now. Ah! Grinding away too many. Okay. So pretty much everywhere else around the ship, we've been giving ourselves about a 2-block buffer for walking, and hopefully it's enough. It seems to be. So I got about 2 blocks, 2 small blocks all the way around. So I want to do, I'll continue that trend here, and we'll give ourselves 2 blocks on either side for walking, and then we'll throw the cockpit down in front of that. And we can kind of cheat a little bit because the ramp, you know, you can go up the sides on top, so that's, you know, not too worried about it. For those of you guys who are wondering why I'm wanting to go with this kind of control seat vice a normal cockpit, 2 parts. One, we're on a planet, and there's really no point in having a cockpit to protect you from the atmosphere when the atmosphere is breathable. And number 2 is I've really gotten into on the multiplayer server, we've been doing a lot with the different scripts and stuff. So there's a couple really cool scripts, especially for something like an airplane that would be nice to have, such as an artificial horizon. And to do that, you need to put in screens, and if you have a big cockpit blocking everything, you can't see anything, then, you know, it's going to be a little more difficult. See, for this, now we just, I mean, granted we got this little screen in front of us, it's useless, but you know, we can still put some other LCD screens around us that'll be beneficial. So that's my plan. That's the plan. Alright, for starters, we got to figure out how we're going to get the nose to curve over. First thing.
Alright, we'll continue. Let's see. I don't know. Let's play with it here for a minute, and we'll see what happens.
Alright, that's not too bad. It's not exactly the, you know, the pointy tip that I would have expected, but, or that I was envisioning, but I think it'll work out pretty good. So, now, let's see, we gotta do the top. That shouldn't be too hard. That's not too bad. It, I don't know, it is kind of blocking the view slightly. I don't know. We'll play with that part later. For now, it's alright. It'll do. Let's go ahead and finish this part off. And then I think we're going to play with putting some wheels on this bad boy. Okay, so we want our wheels to be the same height as the boarding ramp, right? So let's go ahead and measure down and see how far down we need these bad boys to go. Alright, so it's looking like 5 blocks down. Five blocks down. So, let's see. You know, your standard airplane has 3 wheels, but I'm going to go with 4 probably. 2 in the back and 2 in the front. We still got to do some decoration on the back, kind of round that off a little bit. So what I'm thinking is we'll put the wheels basically like right under the thrusters. Maybe we go right behind the thrusters. Okay, that's not too bad. That takes care of the back. Let's see, how do we want to do the front? Those things are, what, 2... almost 4 blocks wide, it looks like. So this looks like 2 blocks for the base part and another 1 to 2 blocks for the wheel. So let's see, 4 blocks wide, which means we need 8 blocks total for the 2. What I'm thinking is, what if we mount a mount just right in the center and have both wheels coming off the center? Let's see how that looks. Either way, these massive wheels are not really conducive for aircraft, but see, my fear now is that these wheels are going to rub the bottom of the plane. And honestly, I think that looks really, really dumb. So, let's not. Let's try something else. It's kind of hard to put 4 wheels on this thing and not make it look like it's a... Oh, I wonder, what if we put a landing gear? Okay, so this is either going to go very, very right or very, very wrong. Either way, it should be an interesting show. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to turn the batteries off of recharge. We'll bring up the boarding ramp before we take it off to see how it, make sure it doesn't, you know, fall down and blow up when we drop it. And then I can worry, we need to put on some programmable blocks and some timer blocks and stuff to be able to run the LCD screens. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and we'll set up our control panel here. So I've got the batteries. We'll toggle those recharge on and off. We've got the thrusters. We'll toggle those on and off. The boarding ramp we want to be able to open and close. So we'll get that here. And let's see, anything else that we want on the controls? I don't think there's anything else. Oh, you know what? Yeah, there is landing gear. We want to be able to lock and unlock that. That way we can keep the ship in one stable position once we drop it. And we want to turn off the auto lock so that it doesn't automatically lock us to the ground when we want it to. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll bring up the boarding ramp. We'll turn our batteries off of recharge and our thrusters on. Now we'll go cut this bad boy loose and hope it doesn't fall down and explode. Oh, you know what? Actually, before we do that, let's change our wheels. We got to change the settings on our wheels. Everybody cross your hands. Cross your fingers. Hey, hey. So, our gear are wrong. Let's see. At least the landing gear worked. We need to, that's kind of, so I'm wondering, it looks like our vertical thruster is not, yeah, that is not enough to give us VTOL capabilities. So, that's, we're going to have to add another thruster on there. We're going to hover up. So the next option, we'll let this thing sit and hover, and let's try grinding the wheel off, or at least damaging it and fixing it. See if maybe that'll... No? Alright, what about you? No. Alright, let's just take the whole cotton picking thing off. And we'll put it back on and see if it'll work better. I'm wondering if maybe, since it was on a large stationary grid, maybe that was causing issues. I wouldn't see why, but you know, anything is possible in Space Engineers. So, okay, let's try doing the other one now. If nothing else, the VTOL capability is working most excellent. So we can always, you know, go with just straight up landing gear. If we have to. Alright. That's fixed. Let me fix the pad here, or the, well, this is actually supposed to be a living place. It just kind of worked out we were going to build our ship here. So, get this all fixed up real quick. Okay. And now let's see if we can set up our gear. Alright. And now we will set it down and see what happens. Hey, hey, look at that. Excellent. So that's working now. Okay. We still got to play with the back, but it's almost sunset. The episode's almost over, and I would like to get this thing flying before we leave. So, control panel, let's see. I think I made the mistake of hiding all the thrusters. I want the two forward thrusters. Let's see, forward and forward. Okay. Forward thrust, we're going to save those. We can hide all the rest of this stuff again. And I want to set up the hot bar so that we can increase and decrease our thrust override. And you know what else I want to do is actually I want to change, so I want to get rid of this. And we want all of them except we want to be able to turn all the other thrusters off. So which two are forward? That's forward and that's forward. Okay, so these are all vertical. And that's everything else. So we want to set, or I want to set, all the other thrusters to just on off. Okay, so that then whenever we want to hold position or whatever, then we'll set those. Otherwise, we want them to turn off, because when we're flying around, we want to fly with the wings, right? Alright, one quick test before we go. I'm going to lock the landing gear, and what the heck? What the heck? What the heck? I locked the landing gear and that's when the things went crazy? Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Well, that's Space Engineers, I guess. Okay, so that's what I thought. The boarding ramp actually will clip through stuff and you can walk up it. Okay, well that works. Well, now that we have our gear broken, let's go ahead and we're going to turn on our thrust override and let's see if we can go for a flight. No? Why are we not flying? Hello? Hello? Why for art we not going? Okay, so there's something wrong with our thrusters. That's because they're turned off. Alright, let's turn them on. Get back to a regular view, and here we go. Go up. Alright. We are flying strictly off of our wings and rear thrusters. Traveling at, wow, that's using 60% of our power, just those two thrusters. Crazy. Alright. Landing is going to be a trick without landing gear. The only way we're going to be able to land is using the VTOL, I think. Turned off our backwards. There we go. And I turned on the rest. And now we'll just have to land. I would, if we had working wheels, I would have done a regular landing. However, we don't. So, something we'll have to work on. Also, this thing needs a little bit more braking thrust, I'm thinking. Because it didn't really want to stop. I guess too small is not enough to really stop it from going. But hey, you know, we got our first flight in the Green Monster. Lock down the landing gear and we will turn off our thrusters. Alright, well, it's a start. So, we've learned something which is important. We've learned that landing gear brake wheels now in this version. So, yeah, we're going to have to make a decision, guys. I want to hear your comments. You let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should we go all landing gear or all wheels? I think the wheels would be fun to land with. You know, like we could set up a nice runway and stuff. But on the same token, we have VTOL capabilities. So, yeah, you guys tell me, what do you think? What should we do? What should we use? Should we do wheels or landing gear? I will look for the comments and we'll make the decision on the next episode. Until then, I'm going to fly back up here to my patron board. Can't leave without saying goodbye to our patrons, right? Alright. Alright guys, until next time, I will see you back on Swoodycraft.